Hello Cancer, and welcome to my channel Tarot by Gabrielle. This is going to be a general reading for Sun, Moon, Rising, and Venus placements, looking at your connection between you and the person that you are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. We'll be pulling for all three sides of the connection, so we'll look at your energy toward it, their energy toward it, and the energy in between it. The concept being that there are three sides to every story. So we're looking at your version of the truth, their version of the truth, and this higher level unbiased truth in the middle. This middle section will be looking at what is the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in order to align further with your higher self. Friendly reminder that these are general readings and they are not here to resonate fully for everyone, and they won't resonate fully for everyone. So do please remember to take what does resonate and helps your personal situation and to leave what does not. On that note, and especially if you're a cross watcher, just know that this whole reading can be reversed. If that is the case for you, that is totally fine and totally normal. Again, the point is to take what helps and leave what doesn't. Last thing is that any information on the extended reading or on booking a personal reading or coaching session with me is in the description box below. All right, Cancer. We're going to jump on in. We're going to start with looking at overall energy through oracle cards first. So we're going to look at your energy, their energy, and the energy in between the connection. And then we'll dive deeper into what's going on here with tarot as we progress. So let's start here, Cancer, with looking at your side of this connection to the person you are dealing with. Divine timing. Interesting. So I feel like divine timing is very much at play in your love life. Okay. Breakups and makeups with confusion, and then you have solitude. There's a lot going on here with grief and sadness on the bottom. This connection has been very in and out of your life. And I feel like when it's in your life, it's the word that immediately came to mind is it's magnificent. It's almost as if it's big and it's beautiful, and there's a lot of, really positive feelings, that you get to experience. But then there's the flip side, right? When there's the removal of the energy, and I feel like then you're immediately in this kind of grief and sadness energy. It's heavy, and it's almost like it's as good as it can get, and it can feel as bad as it can get. And I think that this kind of back and forth energy has been really hard for you, and has obviously put you in this place of confusion, because I know that it's like, that you deserve better, but I also feel that when things are good, like that's what you want. So it's hard for you to know exactly how to handle this or what to do, because it's so good when it's good that it puts you in this place of not really knowing, why things can't be good all the time. And that's where I feel like we're kind of going back to this divine timing being at play in your love life, because divine timing is all about alignment, right? So I feel like there's a few layers to what this is bringing through. I don't necessarily know where you're currently at in this cycle. You could be in kind of that, separation period, that period of grief and sadness right now. The solitude energy is this energy of almost feeling very alone, so even maybe maybe there is this, you're in this separation period, and right now you're just kind of feeling, there's a lot of overthinking, feeling a lot, trying to make sense of things here. So let's see if we can break this down for you and help provide some clarity. This person's energy toward you. Dead end. Connection. Their energy is hard to get through. Surrender, and then separation. So there's that separation that was definitely coming through. I feel like this person put this connection in separation in some way, whether it was like their behavior led you to walking away, or they walked away. I do feel as if, because there's a desire here, you have this desire for this connection to work, for things to be different. And I feel like this person is almost like working against that. But it's interesting because with this connection card, there are feelings here. I feel like this person does feel very deeply connected to you. But this dead end card, it gives this kind of limited capacity energy, almost as if this person's capacity to give and receive love is very limited. It's almost like what you deserve and what you desire is more than what they're capable of bringing right now for whatever reason. And I do feel like they recognize that. It does feel like there's awareness that they're not treating you like you deserve. So why are they doing it? So yeah, okay. We'll see what else we can uncover here. Truth of the connection between Cancer and this person. Mirroring. That's why there's those high highs and those low lows. I feel like you both bring out like the good in each other, but I also feel like you have this tendency to kind of trigger each other's shadow. Wild card here. This connection is very unpredictable. It almost feels like because things are so mirrored and so intense that there's kind of like, I don't know if explosion is the right word, but like things can kind of go wrong at seemingly really simple things where it's like, things were, headed in the right direction. And then, there's this argument, all of a sudden everything falls apart and you're like, what the hell just went wrong? Like that's kind of what this feels like. Things seem to shift very out of the blue and everything in this connection just feels so intense. Like, again, when it's good, it's really good. And when it's bad, it's like really bad. And I think that intensity is something that is equally as exciting as it is scary. And that adds even more like layer of, like an extra layer of complication to what's going on here. So with that said, let's jump into this. Let's see what we've got here, because I think that there's something that's needing to be broken down. Oh, what are we doing? I'm jumping ahead. I'm getting ahead of myself. We haven't done overall theme of this. Overall theme of this connection. What does Cancer need to know? I feel like you're dealing with this, like this person's behavior is so unpredictable. And that's what makes things so complicated here. There's a lot of anxiety surrounding this connection too. Like, I honestly feel like that could be for both of you. You know what's funny is I jumped ahead there and I was going to say maybe I'm jumping to conclusions. Or jumping ahead. Or like maybe you're jumping to conclusions about the connection. And I feel like you are. Second option with you moved on. I feel like you feel almost as if this person like doesn't care about you. Doesn't care or doesn't think about you or anything like but they do. Inconsistencies. There it is. It's like they do care and they do think about you. In fact, I think they think about you a lot more than you think that they do. But then their behavior is it's so, and that's the first thing I noticed with this connection card and the energy that was coming out over here is I do feel like this person has very genuine feelings and care for you. So I think where I'm getting tripped up and probably where you're getting tripped up, Cancer, is you're like, well, their behavior certainly doesn't show it, like, because of how they act. So let's break this down. And maybe that's the thing, I think sometimes we tend to jump to conclusions about how people feel based on how they act, which makes sense. And I think we should always make our decisions based on how people show up. Absolutely. But oftentimes people's actions don't actually reflect their feelings about us. They reflect, where they're at in their life and in their journey at that time, their emotional intelligence, their, level of healing and things of that nature. And, people don't treat us how they value us. People treat us how they value themselves. So I do feel like there's a lot more to this story here. So Cancer, let's look at your side. You have breakups and makeups with confusion. Cancer's energy toward the person they are dealing with and are needing to learn the most from right now. Okay. So Justice in Reverse being the first card out makes a lot of sense. Then there's the Sun energy here. The Ten of Cups. And this is exactly what I was feeling. When things are good in this connection, it literally feels like magical, magnificent. Like these are the words coming to the letter M for some reason. High Priestess in reverse. Oh my goodness, these are all, well, no, because you have the Ten of Cups. The Strength. What else here? And the Star in reverse. The 5 out of 6 of these cards are major arcanas. And then you have the Ten of Cups here. All right, with the 5 of Cups underneath. This connection has a very, it's playing a very important role in your life and in your journey. And I feel like we'll start to kind of uncover in what way as we move through this reading. But Justice in reverse right out of the gate. This is definitely this energy of feeling very screwed over, feeling as if you have really gotten the short end of the stick here. And I think that is for a couple of different reasons. I feel like, first of all, I think that you feel screwed over just by this person's behavior, by the way that they've showed up, by the things that they've done. And I don't know what that is yet. We're going to see it when we get there, by the separation in general and their decisions. There's that way in which you feel you got the short end of the stick. And in the other way, I feel like you feel you got the short end of the stick is this connection felt so good and it was so intense in such a positive way that experiencing the separation and almost having it removed from your life feels as if the universe gave you what you wanted and then took it away from you. Almost as if it showed you what you could have just to show you what, just to take it away. And I don't think that that's what's happening, okay? And I think that right now, and I will say, like, the way that we view any situation, the first way that we see any experience that happens to us is through the lens of our fear and insecurity. And a lot of us have this deep fear of, never getting to have the love that we deserve and desire. So when certain things happen, we tend to jump to conclusions of how, what is happening is proof of how we can never have the love that we deserve and desire. And I think that that's kind of a little bit what's happening here. It feels like Spirit is saying you're not clear on what actually is going down, because Spirit isn't trying to take away the love that you deserve here. And remember, we had that divine timing card, and I do feel, in addition to divine timing here, there's also this divine protection where Spirit is trying to move you closer to the love that you deserve and desire. And you might be struggling right now to understand like how that is the case, because there is separation here. You feel like you're moving further away from it. Again, I think we'll break this down more, but kind of coming back to talking about the connection as a whole, I feel like there were so many things about this that were so good, that really exceeded your expectations, that there was so much excitement, right, around where this was going to go. I feel like you really see this person, or saw this person, as your future and the potential, like oh my gosh, I've been waiting for this. I've been wanting this. I've never felt like this before, just for, things to kind of unfold the way that they did. And I think right now, the place that you're sitting in, with the Star in reverse, is that this has, this connection and the way that it has happened, this disappointment, this grief, this sadness, it's dimmed your light a little bit. And I think that it's taken away a little bit of your hope around relationships and around what's possible for you in love. I think this person has made you feel like you don't matter. I feel like they've made you feel very rejected. And I think all of these things, and I'm not telling you how you feel, I'm telling you what, like, the energy that I'm reading. So if that doesn't resonate with you, absolutely okay. But this is kind of what I'm feeling. I feel like you feel this sense of rejection, this sense of, I can't believe, I wasn't enough for them. And I feel as if what Spirit is trying to say, especially with the High Priestess in reverse, is you're jumping to conclusions about what is going on here, assuming how this person is feeling and things of that nature, which is normal. I think, when somebody does certain things, it's like, oh, they don't care about me. But that can really start to damage, our self-esteem and our sense of, self-worth and what's possible for us in love. And so I almost feel like Spirit is asking you to take a little bit of a step back from your current perspective and to see things a little bit differently. And I feel like we're going to break down what Spirit's trying to bring through when we look at this person's energy. So, I think that this has been a really, like, a whirlwind of an experience for you in a lot of different ways. So I think we can, I think that we can provide you with a little bit of clarity here. I opened to the Hangman in reverse there when I picked up that deck. Let's see what their energy is toward you. Connection with dead end. All right. What do we got here? This person's energy toward you. Cancer. Four of Pentacles in reverse. The Hierophant. Interesting. Okay. The Hermit. I feel like they kind of pulled the rug out from underneath you, and I feel like they have a habit of doing this too. Ten of Wands. Six of Cups in reverse. That's in reverse too. Yeah, Seven of Pentacles in reverse. Interesting. You wouldn't know it. But, you're over here wondering whether or not you're good enough for this person or why you weren't good enough, because I feel like certain decisions that they made, right, removed them from this connection. But this is the opposite here. I feel like this person doesn't feel as if they are good enough for you. This person is someone who I feel, how do I say this? Like, I don't want to, it's not just like has been through a lot in their life, but I feel like specifically in relationships, they've had a lot of experiences that have made them feel like they're not enough. And maybe this started in childhood. I'm not quite sure, but I feel like there's this repetitive pattern in their relationships of kind of experiencing a lot of hurt, like a lot of like really unfair or painful things. And because of that, they have kind of, the best way I could describe it is become a little bit cynical when it comes to love, when it comes to what's possible for them in love. And here you come along, right, with this really warm, really soft energy. And I feel like this person has kind of hardened their heart in a lot of ways because of things that they've been through. And almost, immediately like saw this connection as something that really felt like too good to be true to them, like almost as if there was something wrong with you if you loved them the way that you did. And I feel like that's where a lot of their behavior really stems from, is they feel, ultimately deep down, they've been taught through their experiences that they're not deserving, not worthy, not capable of love, maybe through experiences in childhood with, parents, they learn, divorce or whatever, they maybe learned that, love isn't something that is going to last. It's always something that's going to end in heartbreak. There's this very like cynical, kind of almost like closed-minded view on love and relationships here, which makes them very, very non-committal, because they believe that commitment is only going to lead to things falling apart. So they have a tendency of tearing things down before actually giving certain things a chance to hurt them. And this is something that is a very deep-seated, like wounded pattern for them, pushing people away, sabotaging relationships, running away from connections, and especially something, so powerful as this one. And I think that that's where a lot of like the highs and lows stem from is, there is a genuine desire here. And I'm going to be honest, I think you would be kind of surprised how much this person really does care about you, because I do feel there is a lot of care here in this energy. Like my heart is like warm in this person's energy toward you. My heart chakra is. So I do feel like there is a lot of care here, but I also feel that this person doesn't feel as if they can have what it is that they do desire and love. So the way that they behave in this connection, the things that they do, the decisions that they make, it has nothing to do with how they feel about you. And I think that that's what's so interesting is you're over here like, they completely moved on. They don't care about me. I'm just a second option to them. And to them, I feel like this connection is something that is really important to them. But the way that they show up doesn't reflect that. And to be honest with you, that's what matters most, right? Somebody can love you, they can have love for you, they can care about you, but none of that matters if how they show up doesn't align with what you deserve. So I'm not sitting here saying, oh, have empathy for this person, you should just deal with it because they've been through a lot. That's not at all what I'm saying. I feel like Spirit is trying to help you understand this energy a little bit more so that you're able to understand that it has nothing to do with you or with the value that you provide. You bring a lot to the table. I feel like this person sees that, but I also feel like this person is so used to getting hurt or so used to experiencing hurt in relationships, whether it's relationships happening to them or the people around them. Like I said, we develop an understanding of love from a very young age of like what that looks like and things of that nature. And I feel like this person has developed a very cynical idea of what love looks like. So since to them it's all inevitably going to end, it's like, well, I might as well just end it than, get more invested and get hurt later on. So I feel like they tend to kind of dig their own grave in a way where it's like they have this desire to love and be loved. They care about this connection, but where they're at and all of these things that I'm talking about, the way that they're responding, these are all trauma responses, right? This is, I've been through things that are unhealed, so I'm letting those unhealed wounds run the show. And the thing about adult relationships is that we all have wounds, okay? Everybody's been through something. Obviously, yes, some more than others. But when we get into relationships in adulthood, our wounding is officially our responsibility, right? It's not the responsibility of our partner. It's not the responsibility of the people who wounded us to heal. It was never our fault, but it is our responsibility to heal and to not allow those wounds to make decisions for us. And when we are, in a kind of a wounded place, it doesn't mean we are wounded, but when we've been through things that make us feel as if we're broken or damaged or whatever, not saying we are, but when we've been through things that make us feel that way, we are going to treat ourselves as such. We're going to say, I am unworthy and undeserving of love. I can't have the love that I deserve and desire. And our behavior is going to reflect that. Now, the person that they're dealing with, which is you in this situation, you're going to see their behavior as a reflection of how they value you and what they believe you are worthy and deserving of. So what can happen in those situations when we're viewing things from that perspective is then we go, oh, how can I make this person see that I am worthy of commitment, that I am deserving of what it is that I desire? And we are actually misunderstanding what's happening there. this person's rejection, if you want to call it that, of you isn't a rejection of you or of the connection. It's a rejection of themselves. It's a rejection of them allowing themselves to open up to love. It's very, baseline runner energy here. And I feel like it's really important to understand that for a couple of different reasons. Like I said, it's important to understand that people, don't treat us how they value us. They treat us how they value themselves. And that can help us on our healing journey. But then we also have to start to ask ourselves the question, why was this connection, attracted into my life? Because we attract what needs to be healed before we're able to attract our healing. And this connection is reflecting back at you some sort of wound around, maybe it's rejection or abandonment or betrayal, that is needing to be addressed, because this wound keeps driving you into people with similar wounding, which when you're dealing with people who have similar wounding, they're either going to run away from the love that they deserve or chase it in places they can't find it. And then those two types of people who that the wound that manifests in those ways, they tend to find each other. And so it creates a lot of complication, and that's where the mirroring is really stemming from here. So I feel like there is kind of like a deeper purpose as to why you and this person met. And I feel like a lot of it is the healing that it is sparking in each of you. Now, healing is a choice. It's not something that just happens, and not everyone chooses to do it. So our focus isn't on, what can this person do to heal? What do they need to do to heal? Our focus is on, how can I take my power back and make sure I'm doing the healing so that I can attract the love that aligns with my healing, not the love that aligns with my wounding. And we're going to hop on over to the extended and dive deeper into this. So in between this connection, you have wild card with mirroring. We're going to look at the deeper purpose of the connection and the best way for you to move forward in alignment with your higher self. Any information for that is in the description box or the caption below. As always, Cancer, thank you so much, as always, for your support of me as a reader. I obviously hope that this helped and resonated with you, and I'm wishing you nothing but love and healing and all of the wonderful things you deserve and desire on your journey moving forward. All right, bye, Cancer.